Welcome to the Gen Z CEO Podcast. Welcome to the Gen Z CEO Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from whichever corner of the world you're listening from. This is the Gen Z CEO Podcast, and I'm your host, Hilary Kabila. And I'm excited to be hosting this second season of this podcast simply because we're going to talk about the cost of becoming. And we are going to explore what it really costs to build a career, start a business, create wealth, and chase success as a young African today. And I couldn't think of a better episode to start with than this question. Is entrepreneurship being oversold? Is entrepreneurship being oversold? Because somewhere along the way, start a business became the answer to almost every problem. Can't find a job? Start a business. Your salary is too low? Start a business. The economy is bad? Start a business. You want freedom? Start a business. You want wealth? Start a business. You want purpose? Apparently, start a business. And if social media is to be believed, everybody is one side hustle away from becoming a millionaire. But let's be honest for a second. If entrepreneurship is the solution to unemployment, why are so many entrepreneurs struggling? And if entrepreneurship is the path to freedom, why are so many founders burnt out? And if everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, who's supposed to do all the other jobs that make the society function? Today, let's talk about it. One thing I've noticed is that entrepreneurship is no longer just a career choice. It's becoming an economic survival strategy. And that's an important distinction. Across Africa, millions of young people enter the job market every year looking for opportunities. The challenge? Formal job creation isn't keeping up. So naturally, governments, institutions, influencers, and even parents have started encouraging entrepreneurship as an alternative. And I'm Kenyan. In Kenya alone, government-backed initiatives like the Nyota program are putting startup capital directly into the hands of young people to encourage enterprise creation. Thousands of young entrepreneurs have already received funding to start or expand businesses. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Entrepreneurship matters. Small businesses matter. Innovation also matters. The problem begins when entrepreneurship stops being an option and starts becoming the expectation. When a young graduate can't find work and the immediate response is, why don't you start something? As if starting a business is easy. As if entrepreneurship is simply an employment with a logo. Here's a truth that doesn't trend very well online. Not everybody should be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Some people are incredible engineers. Some are brilliant teachers. Some are world-class designers. Some are exceptional researchers. Some are great managers. Some are great employees, and none of these paths are inferior. Yet somewhere along the way, we've created a culture where having a business sounds ambitious. But having a job sounds like settling. That's dangerous. Because healthy economies need entrepreneurs. But they also need skilled workers. They need builders. They need creators. They need specialists. They need people who don't necessarily want to run companies. Now, let's talk about something economists have been discussing for years. The difference between survival entrepreneurship and opportunity entrepreneurship. Survival entrepreneurship is when someone starts a business because they have no better alternative. Opportunity entrepreneurship is when someone starts a business because they see a genuine market opportunity. According to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, many young Africans are pushed into what they describe as survival businesses due to limited access to jobs, finance, and opportunities. These businesses often struggle to scale and create lasting economic impact. Think about that. If your business was born because rent was due next week, you are solving a different problem from someone who spent years studying a market opportunity. One is chasing opportunity, the other is escaping unemployment, and those are not the same thing. Let's talk about social media, because social media has done a fantastic job marketing entrepreneurship. You see the wins, you see the funding announcements, you see the successful founders, you see the luxury offices, you see the business class flights, you see the podcasts, You see the celebrations. What you don't see are the failed businesses, the rejected proposals, the unpaid invoices, the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the loans, the pressure, the self-doubt. Entrepreneurship has become one of the most edited careers on the internet. And then there's funding. This one is fascinating. Many young founders think entrepreneurship means raising money from investors. But the reality is very different. African startup funding is recovering in 2026. But investors have become far more selective. Funding is increasingly concentrated in fewer companies, larger deals, and businesses with stronger fundamentals and clearer paths to profitability. Translation: the money didn't disappear. The easy money did. Investors are asking tougher questions. Customers matter more. Revenue matters more. Profitability matters more. The era of building a PowerPoint and calling yourself a founder is becoming much harder. So is entrepreneurship being oversold? I think the answer is yes. Not because entrepreneurship is bad, but because we've started presenting it as a universal solution. It's not. Entrepreneurship is a career path, not an unemployment policy. Not everybody should start a business. Not every problem can be solved by a startup. And not every young person should feel guilty for wanting a stable job. The goal isn't to force everybody into entrepreneurship. The goal is to create an economy where entrepreneurship is a genuine choice, not the only option left. And maybe that's the real question. If tomorrow you are offered a meaningful job with a good pay, room for growth, and work you genuinely enjoyed, would you still choose entrepreneurship? Or are you building a business because you truly want to? Think about that, because your answer says a lot about the economy you are living in, and it says even more about the cost you are willing to pay to become. Thank you for listening to the Gen Z CEO podcast with me, Hilary Kabila. Until next time, keep building, keep questioning, and remember, every success story has a cost. This season, we are counting it. Bye-bye.
Gen Z CEO podcast. Welcome to the Gen Z CEO podcast. Welcome to the